What's up, boys? Welcome to this week's final episode of the second quarter. So for this one, we're going to be going over our playoff contenders and pretenders. So you want to start with the AFC or the NFC?
We'll go ahead and start off with the AFC. We're going to start from top to bottom, from the 7th seed to the 1 seed. Starting off with the 7th seed with the Steelers, I have them as pretenders. I don't think they're a good enough football team to get past the Chiefs even, let alone win the Super Bowl.
Honestly, I didn't really put any names down. I just said as a whole, I really feel like anybody can come out of the AFC except for maybe the Steelers or Raiders, but I wouldn't count them out. I just don't think there's an AFC team that you can count out at this point. It's a very intriguing side of the bracket, and I just feel like every team in there is capable of making it to the Super Bowl.
So next, the Patriots. I also have them as pretenders. I just don't think with a rookie quarterback, despite having Bill Belichick and a phenomenal defense, I don't think Mac Jones is going to be able to lead that team to a Super Bowl just yet. Who knows within the near future, though?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I do still obviously feel like anything can happen because any given Sunday, but obviously Saturday, I guess. Then obviously you got the Raiders next at the 5 seed.
I think they're pretenders too.
I don't think
they're too much locker room issues are going on.
They might win in the wild card round.
There's a possibility
Maybe.
they could win.
That's about it.
But you have an interim head coach. You're dealing with a lot of locker room issues with obviously like Damon Arnett and then Henry Ruggs as well.
And I don't know if they're still going on about it, but there was that rumor a while back that Josh Jacobs had 9 children with 8 different women.
Yep, so some locker room issues there, it might make it tough for them. So then we have the Bengals. I also have the Bengals as pretenders. I still feel like they're too inexperienced to make a real Super Bowl run. They could make it to the AFC championship game, for the conference championship game. I don't see them making it any farther past that. They're still too inexperienced. They're still kind of. This is a team that was not supposed to be here. This team was supposed to go 4-12.
I really think this team got here because of injuries to every other team in their division, and the Browns kind of just being bad. It's not even just the Browns. It's really just Baker Mayfield. I understand he had the torn labrum or whatever, but he's just not a good quarterback. He's a good spot holder until you find your franchise guy, but he's not that guy. He's a really hype guy. He's a locker room hype guy. He just so happens to be the starting quarterback at the moment.
I think Baker Mayfield was the guy to turn that franchise around, but not lead the franchise.
Yeah, he turned them around. Now they need someone else to lead them.
Exactly. So then the Bills. I think the Bills are contenders. Josh, they have a great football team. I don't think they're going to win this week, though, especially just because of the weather. Josh Allen is a great quarterback. He's a top 5 quarterback. The run game is definitely where it sucks at. That definitely needs some improvement. Maybe this year's draft you take a running back or build up on your linebackers a little bit, especially when you have Tremaine Edmonds. Some outside linebackers might help, or maybe a defensive front. I know they took a defensive end in last year's draft. And then they have a great secondary.
See, I'm confident that if the Bills do get to the Super Bowl, that they can win it. But I'm not. I have no faith in them to get to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be cold everywhere they play up until the Super Bowl. Then that'll be in LA. If their team is designed for warm weather or domes because they pass. They're not a run heavy team. They're not a great running team anyway. Josh Allen's their best rusher. I understand they don't have the most yards, but he's the best rusher on that team. If they make the Super Bowl, I do think they'll win, but I don't think they're going to make the Super Bowl.
And then you have the Kansas City Chiefs. They're obviously contenders.
Yeah.
They are most people's favorites to come out of the AFC just with that high-powered offense. The X factor is going to be if that defense can stop other teams.
Yeah, they made the 3 straight conference championships. Won the last 2 while making the last 2 Super Bowls. They won 1 against the Niners, and then last year just got clobbered by the Bucks. I do think they can come out of the AFC again, but it just depends on how they play against the Titans because I assume that will probably be the matchup it comes down to in the AFC Championship.
And then speaking of the Titans, they're the number 1 seed. I also have them as contenders, especially with getting Derrick Henry back. Julio Jones is going to be healthy. A.J. Brown's healthy. And when Ryan Tannehill has all of his weapons, he's a top 10 quarterback. That pass rush is great. The defense is really good. So I have the Titans as contenders.
Yeah, I got them as contenders too. I do think they're a good team. I think they're a very well-balanced team without Derrick Henry. I feel like I do think they can make the Super Bowl, but I feel like with Derrick Henry in the game, they're more predictable, and it's more you're able to tell more what they're going to do. So it's either just stack the box against them and run man on the receivers because you can almost always guess that ball's going to Derrick Henry. But I do think that they're my favorite to come out of the AFC, honestly. I have them above the Chiefs personally.
I feel like losing Derrick Henry was beneficial for the Titans because they learned how to win and how to play without him. So now, if defenses are able to take Derrick out of the game, they still know how to win and how to beat you. And it's tough to game plan for that.
Yes.
So then, we'll move on to the NFC now. The Eagles, I think they're pretenders. I don't think that they're going to make it past the Buccaneers. They're 0-7 against teams with 500 record or better. So I think they're pretenders. I don't really see them winning the wild card. But anything is possible, especially with an underdog mentality that they had before.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they could make it out. I don't have them they're pretenders in my book. I don't think they're going to do much. They could potentially make a splash in the first round and knock off Tom Brady. But with the way Tom Brady is in the playoffs, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Moving on next to the 49ers, I actually have them as contenders. They are the only wild card team that I have that are legit contenders. I think that they've been there before, and then last year they were just plagued with injuries. So this year, now that they're healthy, I think that they can get back, even with Jimmy G as their quarterback. I think they have a good chance at making it and winning it.
Yeah, I definitely think they can make it. I have them as contenders as well. It's going to be tough to do, especially with how good the NFC is. There's very few teams towards the top, but the ones that are at the top are very good teams, and they're going to be hard to beat. But I think they can make it out. It's just a matter of playing right when it comes down to when it's the right time and making the right plays.
Next is the Cardinals. I have them as pretenders, even though I have them beating the Rams. Excuse me. The team just hasn't played as well as they have recently. It really brings cause for concern, especially because they're going to be playing a lot of really good teams in the playoffs, because that's all there is good teams in the playoffs. So I have the Cardinals as pretenders.
See, I got them as contenders. I think they can make the Super Bowl, potentially win it, but I just don't see much of a chance that it happens. Then obviously the 4 seed is the Rams. I have them as pretenders.
I have them as contenders. I think they went all in this year. They have that mentality of we're all in this year. If they can somehow beat the Cardinals, then they have a very good chance of making the conference championship no matter who they play. And then, possibly moving on to the Super Bowl. As long as Matthew Stafford can limit his interceptions and Sony Michel can run the ball.
Well, as the 4 seed, if they win, they're either playing the Packers or the Bucks if the Bucks win.
So I think they have a good chance against either of those teams. As long as Matthew Stafford keeps the turnovers at a minimum and Sony Michel can run the ball and that defense plays how they know how to play.
See, that's the problem. They're just too inconsistent in my book. I don't think they're going to do much. They might beat the Cardinals. I don't have them beating them. I have the Cardinals 27-20, but it could happen. But I think it's as far as they'll get. They're like a one-and-done team in my book.
And then so next are the Cowboys. I have the Cowboys as pretenders. As I've mentioned in the previous videos, don't buy into them. 6-5 outside of the conference. Haven't had a win against a 10-win team. I have them as pretenders. That offense is highly explosive with Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard. And then, on the defensive side, you have Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs making plays there. But I have them as pretenders. I don't – they're a little bit too kind of shaky. Dak Prescott is definitely going to be the X factor here.
Yeah, I have them as pretenders also. They're too inconsistent. Trevon Diggs is not very good at football.
Despite the 11 interceptions, he's given up 1,000 yards.
I know he's a ball hawk corner and not a lockdown corner, but I feel like if you're a ball hawk, you need to be playing safety, not corner.
Exactly.
And that's
he would be a lot better there.
He'd be a better safety than a corner. I feel like he's in the wrong position. Yeah, 11 picks, but he's given up a ton of yards in coverage. Put him at safety. It probably work out better, honestly. I know he doesn't really have the tackling ability, but still, as a ball hawk, you need to be playing safety, not corner, because corners should lock down, not give up 1,000 yards in coverage.
The Tennessee Titans with Kevin Byard, that's what they've done, and it's worked out fantastic. He led the league a few years ago in interceptions, had 5 this year. He's not like a J.C. Jackson. He's more like a safety than anything.
Yeah. He's not like a Ramsey or an A.J. Terrell or a J.C. Jackson or guys like that. He is a safety. So
next is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have them as contenders. It's kind of hard to count out Tom Brady and that the depth in that roster. I think that they have a very good chance at making the conference championship game. It's like I said, it's really hard to count out Tom Brady.
Yeah, I have them as contenders. I don't think there's really much you need to say about the Bucs. They're a great team, and if you have Tom Brady as your quarterback, you got to be one of the favorites to make the Super Bowl.
Especially making it and winning the Super Bowl last year, it's kind of hard to bet against the favorites.
Yeah, and then obviously the 1 seed's the Packers. What do you got them at?
I think I know what you got them at.
Yeah, you do.
I have them as contenders. I think Aaron Rodgers has been phenomenal this year. Matt LaFleur has been a great coach, even with the injuries that they've had. It's really going to be that run defense. If the Packers run defense, if they can stop the run, then they have a very good shot at making it to the Super Bowl, despite their previous record in the NFC Championship game. I have them as contenders.
Pretenders. They're not contenders. They're not going to win the NFC. They're not going to win the Super Bowl.
You just base that off their track record?
I do not believe in Aaron Rodgers in the NFC title game. It's just not going to happen. He's not going to win one. He might win one, maybe this year, but I don't see it happening. Like, I feel like if the Bucs get eliminated before then, they have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But if they play the Bucs in the conference championship game, the Packers are not coming out of the NFC. Not a chance.
So my Super Bowl prediction is going to be the Titans versus the Packers, and we'll make a prediction later on when it starts to narrow down actually, and then like there is the Super Bowl. But my way too early Super Bowl prediction is going to be the 2 number 1 seeds, Titans versus Packers.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go with the 49ers to make it out of the NFC. And it's a bold take. But
That is a bold take.
I'm going Niners out of the NFC.
I could definitely see that happening.
And the Chiefs out of the AFC. I got a rematch from 2 years ago.
Of the 2019 Super Bowl? Yep. Or
Rematch.
2020, excuse me.
Rematch from 2 years ago. I don't know. I feel like I got the Niners winning, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes.
So to conclude, the only contenders I have coming out of the AFC are the Titans, the Chiefs, and the Bills. And then out of the NFC, it's going to be the Packers, Rams, Buccaneers, and 49ers.
I think anyone could come out of the AFC, and there's only like 2 teams I have faith in to come out of the NFC, and that's the Bucs and the Niners. So that's going to conclude it for this week, right?
Yep, that's going to conclude for this week.
Right.
Tune into our next week's episode, which we will release Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, somewhere around there. We'll let you know a little bit on a timetable on our Instagram. Follow our Instagram at the second quarter. So we will see you guys in the next week's episode. So.